White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. After the rain and game number 1, the Sox are going for the sweep against the Minnesota Twins in this doubleheader on a Monday night in Chicago. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and a banner night for Carson Fulmer, former first-round draft pick, makes his first career start.
Carson Fulmer didn't have the kind of location he would have wanted in AAA, hence the 7-8 record with an ERA in the mid-5s. But he's got good enough stuff to be successful, and his mound opponent, Dylan G. As you can see, 3-0 against our Sox with a 1.59 ERA. You might remember him. He pitched with the Mets. He's been around now and trying to reclaim a position in the starting rotation. And the Twins could use him. If he throws a good one, well, he might figure in their plans down the road.
In game number 1, the Sox got to the Twins starting pitching, and Tim Melville. Avi Garcia was certainly a part of that.
Avi Garcia had 3 hits in the opener, including what turned out to be a huge 2 RBI base hit in the first inning. Takes us right back up the middle, scores a pair. It looked like the Sox would be turned away without scoring in the first, but for the clutch hit by Avi. Moncada and Abreu scoring. Then he comes up, drives one in the gap. Good play by Kepler as he gets it back in, holding Avi at first. Then his third of 3 hits. He was robbed of the 4th. But Avi's swinging it very well, and he's done just a great job since coming back 6 of 8 times. He's had multi-hit games. So it looks like he didn't lose anything with having that injury.
Sox and Twins coming up. Game number 2 of this doubleheader. The sweep is on the line on Eclipse Day at Guaranteed Rate Field. First pitch coming soon.
White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. The national clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Well, the flowers got a little moisture earlier on. A 19-minute rain delay in game number 1. The Sox withstood that and a late charge by Minnesota to take the victory 7-6 and move the record to 48-74. As there is the 23-year-old right-hander Carson Fulmer getting ready for his first major league start. A big day for him.
Certainly is that, and he realizes that control has been an issue. That's one of the reasons why he came up with a cutter to get the ball inside to the left-handers. He's got the certainly competitive spirit that it's going to take to get the job done, and hopefully he will be able to do just that.
24 starts with AAA Charlotte this year and a .561 earned run average for Carson Fulmer. Just about even innings pitched and hits with the AAA team, but the walk number was higher than certainly he expected.
Well, there's no doubt he knows that's what he has to work on. But again, just 23 years old with limited experience. He's had an opportunity to see the major leagues, and the view was from the bullpen. But he prefers the starting role, and it'll be up to him. He's getting an opportunity to establish the fact that he can start in the major leagues. But again, being that young and getting an opportunity now, he's got to make the most of it. You don't know how many times that opportunity comes up, and it's not lost on him the fact that the Sox were able to stockpile some very good arms for their starting rotation down the road.
A young man who's dreamed about this moment for a long time. Carson Fulmer out to the mound to start the game, and he'll face Dozier, Rosario, and Mauer here in the first inning. Then Vargas, Escobar, and Buxton. Polanco 1 for 3 in game number 1, followed by Castro and Adrianza. A bunch of lefties in that lineup.
We'll take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up. Behind Carson Fulmer, Leury Garcia, Adam Engel, and Avisail Garcia. Same outfield as the first game of the twin bill. Then it's Yolmer, Tyler, Allen, and Nicky in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is the aforementioned Carson Fulmer. There you look at the numbers at AAA this year. Few too many walks, but as you can see, left-hander, right-hander, they hit him identically. And 17 home runs is not a particularly high total in 122 innings. Umpires for the game this evening, and there's a different umpire. Nick Lentz has the plate. DJ Rayburn at first. The crew chief, Sam Holbrook, is at second, and Ben May is at third. So we did have some rain, causing a 19-minute delay in the opener of the twin bill, but not enough rain to affect the field at all. It's playing very well as you look at Paul Molitor, Hall of Fame. Has just a great hitter, over 3,000 hits, and he's got a fairly young ball club to deal with. So we're ready to play baseball, and that means Jason Benetti for the second time today. You Iron Man, take it away.
Thank you very much, Steve. Certainly appreciate your stick-to-itiveness as well. You're the Cal Ripken Jr. of color analysts, this being your 6th consecutive game after taking the LA series off.
Yeah, but I'm hot, though, and I think that I could continue to do at least 8 or 9 straight.
Carson Fulmer to Brian Dozier as we are just about underway on the very first start of 23-year-old Carson Fulmer's career. It's a first pitch ball at 94 at 8:22 this evening. Dozier in game 1 was 2 for 4 with a run, a double, and a walk, and here he grounds it to the pull side. Tyler Saladino, a long peg, and a stretch by Delmonico for out number 1.
Nicky did a nice job of getting the baseball and getting back in time as that throw pulled him off the bag in the hole, and Tyler, who occasionally will get under the throw, but Nicky right there.
Nicely played by Delmonico, who's not seen a lot of action at first base for the Sox. He did play there in the finale in Texas yesterday as Fulmer takes on Eddie Rosario. The doubles leader for Minnesota. Rosario this year was 1 for 3 in the opener with an RBI. Carson Fulmer, you were talking about the splits left and right. The slugging percentage against is pretty equal. The on base percentage is pretty equal. So he has been equal opportunity to lefties and righties. And he will face a battery of left-handers in this lineup. 6 of the 9 will hit left-handed.
Well, you don't necessarily get worried about a lineup that's stacked with left-handers, because you get a release point. The thing you don't like is one that's righty-lefty, righty-lefty, because then the release point becomes inconsistent for you.
Pop up on the infield. Sanchez at third for out number 2. So 5 pitches in, Carson Fulmer has 2 outs and no balls left the infield.
Everybody evaluating Carson Fulmer knows that the stuff is major league quality. But like all pitchers, but especially the younger pitchers, they've got to learn command, and what they have to learn is that a fastball can be 2 or 3 different pitches. Not only just a fastball, but he can change speeds on it. That's something that Carlos Rodon has learned this year and doing a good job at changing speeds on the fastball.
There's a strike on a fastball to Joe Mauer, and Carson Fulmer said during spring training, you know, part of the reason he added the cutter is because Don Cooper said you want to be a major league pitcher, you almost have to have it. Mauer to left field. Garcia back, and he's there for out number 3. So Carson Fulmer's inaugural major league start begins with a 1-2-3 first. Auto Group for the best lineup of Chevy, Sports, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Garcia and Sanchez. Yolmer tying a career high with 4 knocked in Game 1. Abreu, Delmonico, Garcia the same. Smith in for Narvaez, Saladino for Anderson, Hansen for Moncada, and Engel gets the start in Game 2 as well.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they'll line up behind Dylan G. Adrianza, Buxton, and Rosario in the outfield with Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, and Mauer in the infield. Jason Castro gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Dylan G. This is his second start, his 9th game. He's thrown the ball well. He's a veteran, been around a while, and he's not overpowering.
Garcia first takes ball number 1. Dylan G, as you mentioned, spent a lot of time with the Mets, coming up through that system after being a 21st round pick 10 years ago. Then bounced around to Kansas City, Texas, and now here with Minnesota. Out of Cleburne, Texas.
If you're a veteran pitcher, if you've had some experience and you've gotten some wins, as long as you're healthy, you'll probably find a job.
Into the night sky and left. Adrianza underneath for out number 1. Well, Bartolo Colon is a perfect example. He's 44 years old and he's still chucking it for Minnesota.
Well, he occasionally has to take a year off or so for maintenance and then come back after having some infusion of blood cells, which we've seen a lot of, which actually works pretty well. And for Bartolo, it's kept his career alive. But what has allowed him to stay around is absolute pinpoint control. He's had that for as long as I can remember, and he still has it despite the fact that the velocities are way down.
Well, that's what's really interesting about the stronger arms and the faster throwers and all of that. A guy like Bartolo Colon makes a lengthy career out of not necessarily having that same strong arm at the end of it, as Mauer makes a nice play for out number 2. Meaning there's always room for somebody like that. As we take a look at our picks to click, you can vote online, whitesox.com/pick-to-click. I believe I took Yolmer in Game 1, which is why I'm closing in on you.
You are?
It's 4 now. I'm coming for you.
Well, who'd you pick here?
Tyler.
Yeah, but that's a sound pick, certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have Delmonico. And
I do.
Nicky's been playing very well.
He's going to have a great game.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of picks to collect.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's why I haven't been doing so well.
It's a ball to Abreu from Dylan G. A Cruz pick to click tonight in game 2. Back to G. 1, 2, 3. No base runners. G versus Fulmer. We go to the second inning. Presented by State Farm, and we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on New Paris Telephone's Quality Cablevision in Elkhart County, Indiana. Hello to you fine folks.
That young lady is learning how to swing a big bat very early.
Well, it's the point. You swing the weighted bat well, then the lighter one, simple.
And here's a guy that also swings a big bat.
Vargas takes ball 1 from Carson Fulmer, so G and Fulmer each with a 7-pitch first inning.
It's pretty efficient.
They keep that up, they'll be called upon to throw every doubleheader game 2 in perpetuity by their teams. Big rip by Vargas, 2-1. Vargas up and down with AAA Rochester this year. 51 games in the International League. Miguel Sano out of the lineup. Had a stress reaction in his leg a couple of days ago, Saturday, in the second to last game in the Arizona series. And that's a big dent in this lineup, Steve.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, 28 home runs, 77 driven in, and a guy that hits the tough pitchers. So that is a loss, and they're hoping that he'll be back as soon as he's eligible.
Twins with that loss in game 1 have dropped out of the second wild card spot. The Angels have that now by a half game at 64-60, and the Angels underway shortly against Texas. Well, a 7-pitch first inning for Carson Fulmer has become a 7-pitch at bat for Vargas here in the second.
If he throws that slider in on the hands of Vargas, he's going to get him. He's worked a few pitches away, had some success in this at bat. Let's see where he goes here.
Breaking ball up.
That was supposed to be the slider inside, which would have been a good pitch for that situation, but he missed with it, and Vargas was able to stay alive and fought it off. Look in at Kevin Smith.
Three and two on Vargas. Escobar next, then Buxton to follow. Leadoff walk for Vargas. The 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, home of low mortgage rates and the world's best digital mortgage. The Twins aren't necessarily the team you'd want to face if you've had a walk issue. They're top 5 in Major League Baseball in walks taken this season.
It goes hand in hand with a team that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. In the case of the Twins, a team that scores a lot of runs.
Seen a couple breaking balls up. What do you do mechanically to change that?
Well, right now, what he's got to fight is the huge adrenaline rush that he's getting, and consequently, you'll see the occasional fastball at 96, which is not where he wants to be with it.
Garcia in left. We're on number 1.
I think it's just a question of him burning off that adrenaline and then getting back to what he knows he can do, which is change speeds and hit his spots. He was trying to overthrow to Vargas. Consequently, the ball stayed up and away a couple of times. Again, you see 96 for his two-seam fastball. That's not what he's looking for. He'd like to throw 92 to 94, get a little run, a little sink on it. That's a question of being more comfortable.
Now Buxton lines this ball to left field. Vargas to second base. And the best news is you have Vargas in front of Buxton on the base path.
Kevin Smith wanted this ball away from Buxton. Here's an example of trying to overthrow it. Look where Kevin sets up. He wants it low and away. And this ball is on the inside part of the plate. So when even a young pitcher is missing his spot by a good 1.5 feet, that's not going to end well for him. And again, it gets to the point where he's got to get comfortable, but he's very psyched up, has a lot of adrenaline, and consequently you will miss your spots. He's hoping he's not going to miss it by as much as he did to Buxton.
Now Polanco has to dance out of the way. How do you calm that down, though, alone on the mound in your first major league start?
You have to have worked on it, and one of the things is probably the best way to do it is just take a step back, take a deep breath. Just try to allow all of your emotions to drain away. It sounds like it's easier said than done, because it is.
That ball's crushed to right field, and it's a 3-run home run for Jorge Polanco, his second homer of the 3-run variety in this doubleheader, and Minnesota has the lead.
Tried to get that ball inside, but if you're going in there, it's got to be up over his hands. It wasn't. Our fourth home run replay. And once again, you see where Kevin Smith set up. He set up away. Carson got that ball in and gone.
Jorge Polanco began this doubleheader with 3 home runs. He now has 5. And there's strike 1 to Jason Castro, the catcher.
The doubleheader ends right now. It's a very productive day for Polanco.
6 driven in, 2 homers. There's a strike.
First time in the career of Polanco that he's homered in back-to-back games.
Garcia on the run and left into foul ground, and no play. I don't know that Leury knew exactly where that ball was. Looked like there might have been a play available over there.
Yep. The ball has a tendency to drift back toward the field of play, and now that ball was in the seats. He would have to fight the fan for it, but as you can see coming over, he lost sight of the ball.
Oh, and 2. Another shot to left field. Garcia into the corner. There was certainly no play. Oh my.
And he's
wow.
Wait a second, what? Well, she asked for it, you gave it to her, son, and that's one of the keys to this. Isn't it possession 9/10 of the law?
Yeah, until we have the theft on camera.
Well, no, she asked for it and he handed it to her very graciously.
She kind of took it from him the way I saw it.
That too, yeah.
I don't know that I want you to be my eyewitness for anything.
Oh,
I think you had that all backward.
I think I could get you off with life.
Great.
You will definitely not be executed.
That is big news. Thank you. Line into left center, base hit for Castro. All right, let's double check exactly what happened.
Let's revisit this, as they say. Now she says, I'd like the ball, and he says, well, sure, which probably was a mistake in the grand scheme of things.
She pried it from his hand, and he still isn't happy, by the way.
No, I can understand that.
You think she's the rightful owner?
Oh, sure. He should have just showed it to her.
He did, and then she took it from him.
No, you show it at a distance, like 2 rows back.
He didn't know that.
Here, take a look.
Rookie mistake, I guess.
Exactly right.
Ball 1 to Adrianza. You gonna take her as your pick to click?
No, but so if I'm asked to be your character witness in a pending litigation,
yeah,
I should excuse myself?
I will settle for not you. It's outside 2-0 on Adrianza. .30 pitches for Carson Fulmer through 1 1/3. Castro at first. Called a strike. What Carson would love to have right here is a double play ball to go back and reset.
It would certainly help.
Carson, by the way, has built up quite the lather on the mound.
It's a humid night, and it was 80 degrees with high humidity at game time. He's showing the effects of it early. Adrianza, by the way, has yet to ground into a double play this year. This would be a good time for the first.
2-2. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's Dozier on deck. Dangerous second baseman for Minnesota. Castro runs. Adrianza grounds it foul. Well, for Carson Fulmer, who came out of the bullpen last year for the Sox just after the All-Star break, he ended up making the 8 appearances, 11 2/3 in his career before this game tonight. Delmonico drops the ball and Castro decides not to go.
Well, Castro didn't pick it up. He had no idea that Nicky did not catch that throw. I'd be a little surprised that They tried to pick him off, but he did run on the pitch before. So then Nicky discovers the ball, and fortunately, Castro with no advance.
Three and two. It's high, ball four. 2 on for Minnesota in the second inning. And here comes Don Cooper for a conversation with the former Vanderbilt Commodore, Carson Fulmer.
He's going to talk to him about staying close, because we've talked about it a lot. If you fly open with that left shoulder, your right-handed pitcher, you're going to leave things high and away to the left-hand hitters. And that's where he's been missing. That time, for instance, Kevin Smith wanted the ball inside. That is not the strong point for Carson Fulmer.
Hey, Stanley, the official tools of the Chicago White Sox. Stanley, performance in action.
So Don has had his say.
It's certainly not a comfortable feeling for Carson Fulmer out there, knowing that the location is missing by as much as it is.
No, there's no doubt about that, but he knows that's been the trouble spot. That's why he went to the cutter in the first place. But he's having all kinds of problems finding a release point that he can get the ball in to the left-hand hitters.
First pitch ambusher Brian Dozier, dangerous pitch here, and it's out of the zone.
He's pretty much laid off the first pitch tonight for whatever reason. That has no bearing on the next at bat. He's talking about the fact that he was on base 3 times in the opener, with a couple of base hits in the 7th and 8th.
You're saying the last coin flip doesn't affect the next one? If it's heads 3 times in a row, it doesn't mean it's going to be tails the next time?
No.
Ooh, gotta reread some books.
Yes. Probability was my long suit.
2 balls and no strikes on Dozier. Brian Dozier cracks it to left center field, and the Twins have their second 3-run homer of the inning.
That's the 26th home run for Dozier. He's now driven in 71. Our 4th home run replay. Once again, Kevin Smith sets up a way, and this ball is on the inner half and down, and Dozier just kills it. So with Carson missing his spots by plenty, and that Brewer fan making the catch, it's 6-zip.
And ball 1 on Rosario, as Minnesota, which had some late offense in game 1, has had some early thunder in game 2. Well, here's something that'll brighten your mood a little bit. Dan Hayes will join us in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
He is a world-class entertainer. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, not that Dan Hayes, our insider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
You mean our White Sox insider?
That's right. Pools, patio furniture, all that.
Hot tubs?
Hot tubs, yes. It's ball 4 outside, and Rosario walks.
Well, the last thing that Rick Renteria wants to do is to go that bullpen, but he's left with very little choice. So Kurt Hassler getting ready. His career is over, but that's it. Dylan Covey.
Not a great throwback to Dylan, by the way.
No, are we already in the 2nd inning?
Yes. Mauer takes ball number 1. 2-0 on Mauer from Carson Fulmer. And here's a young man who's pitched in so many high-pressure situations. The College World Series. I mean, that is one of the highest pressure spots you're going to be in, but it's different in that first major league start.
Completely.
2-1 to Joe Mauer. Rosario at first. And the Twins certainly are not going to help out here. It's a very patient team. There's Vargas, who walked.
Yeah, he walked to lead off the inning, and normally that's troublesome. With this inning, no exception.
3-1. Mauer takes a called strike. 3-2. Carson will take it.
Joe is talking with Nick Lentz about perhaps the location of that one.
Play as long as Joe Mauer has. He's got a real strong feel for the strike zone.
Yeah, especially three-time batting champ. And he got him. It looks like that's a balk.
Balk is called.
Yeah, what Rayburn is saying is he either moved his foot or did not step toward first. One or the other, and we'll take a look when we slow it down and show it to you. Take a look. He's saying he bent the front knee, and if you bend your knee and then go to first, it is a balk.
Left side knocked down by Sanchez, but he has no play. And Twins at the corners here in the second. That's an error against Sanchez. And that's going to do it for Carson Fulmer. It will be Dylan Covey for the White Sox here in the second inning. Carson Fulmer leaves, and we will step aside. 6-0 Minnesota.
Your commute home for the 5 at 5 and catch up on the 5 hottest topics of the day. Plus, you can share your opinions with the host during a live stream. Check it out every weekday on Facebook Live. And our Hyundai call to the pen. A whole lot earlier than Ricky would have liked. But it's Dylan Covey in the ball game for the 11th time. 0-4 with an ERA just under 9.
And he will face the guy who led the inning off, Vargas, and then Escobar. Carson Fulmer 1 1/3, 4 hits, 3 walks. First and third for Minnesota, and ball one inside to Vargas. On the ground at third, Sanchez to second, and the turn is there. Hansen does effectively take care of the inning on a nice turn. So 5-4-3 it goes, and we'll play bottom two next. Of our CSN insider Dan Hayes here in the booth. Dan has been on a trip. You don't look like you've spent like 1,000 hours in the car, but you've been in the minors for a while.
Went down there last week, spent 18 hours in the car, 1,000 miles. It was fun.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I'm sure a lot of Waffle House discussion coming. However, you've got an update on Reynaldo Lopez for us.
Yeah, Reynaldo Lopez. Actually, Rick Renneria said today he's hopeful it's a quick disabled list trip. Went out yet today, played catch, was throwing pretty hard during that session. So he's upbeat. I know personally he told Sierra Santos he's a little disappointed to be on the disabled list right now. And Renneria said, don't worry, it's a temporary thing. This is not going to be a long term.
You got a chance to chat with Lucas Giolito, and we'll get to that in a moment. But Matt Davidson, injury update there.
I'm going to test him out again tomorrow, and if Matt Davidson all goes well, could send him out on a rehab assignment right after that. And obviously the hand, it's taken a little while, the soreness in the wrist, hand area, but he's on the verge.
Delmonico in the air left side, Polanco on the run, and he makes the catch for out number one. Giolito starting tomorrow, his debut with the White Sox. What did he say to you leading up to that?
Well, there were a couple things that stood out. He said he's really tried to not complicate things. He's made it a lot simpler for himself this probably second half of the season, but he's eliminated all the things he needs to think about and is just trusting the work. And that's something that he and Steve McCatty worked on at Charlotte. But a huge key for him has been locating the curveball, and he hadn't been able to do that at spring training. That was one of the biggest things he wanted to do. Was he was getting swings and misses with it, but he couldn't spot it for a strike. And in his start prior to the last one, he said, I threw it 20 times, I threw it with confidence, and I was getting called strikes.
Dylan G off the comebacker has out number 2, and you made that tour of the minor leagues. How many states? You said 4 states?
4 states.
Which states were they?
South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, and what's the 4th? Oh, Georgia.
Georgia,
Sorry.
yes, Georgia. Just added as a state in the union. What did you see?
I saw Eloy Jimenez's first home run, first game at AA. Both he and Zach Collins homered there. Zach Collins has talked about the giving up right now on changing the swing in season. He had said there might be a little something, hitch, movement, whatever you want to call it. We're going to work on it in instructional camp. He's not concerned. He said that he talked to Yasmani Grandal, Dodgers catcher, and they're close from Miami days and said, look, the on base is good, the throw percentage is good, the slugging percentage is high. That's what I'm going to worry about right now. And we'll get to the swing in the offseason. Eloy Jimenez, everybody I talked to in Winston-Salem loves Eloy Jimenez. He was a very popular guy for having been there 20 days. Basically every superlative that you could find that's positive was thrown out there about the impact he had on the team. And he gets to Birmingham and homers just inside the right field foul pole on his first at-bat, doubles in his second at-bat. They score 9 runs that night. The next night they scored 12. That was their season high. So they come out and go swinging with him and Collins in the lineup.
What is he like in person, Jimenez? What do you see when you see him?
Very polished for a 20-year-old, and that's something that I've heard across the board. But the thing I think that stood out was he talks about the work ethic, and he'd hit 2 home runs. I think I got there Monday. He'd hit 2 home runs on the Saturday night before, and he was in the cage on Sunday morning, and the scout said that he was working on his curveball. He wasn't messing around. He wasn't talking about the home runs he'd hit. He was trying to worry about the curveball and how to do more damage. And he said, look, the time in the cage is my time. It's part of my routine that gets me where it is. I know that I have this ability. I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to work as hard as I can.
And his father gave him that advice. I mean, his father said to him, look, you have the ability. It's a question of hard work, and Jimenez believes that if he works hard, he'll be successful. He's got enough talent, not only to be a power hitter, we know that, but he's going to be an average hitter also. And by everyone that I have talked to that has run into him anywhere, says he's just a delightful guy, and it's kept everything in perspective.
To third base and Escobar across the diamond. The tag is there for Bauer, and we say thank you to Dan Hayes. Great insight as always.
Thank you.
That's Dan Hayes, our CSN insider. Sox have gone 1 through 6 after 2.
Rate at rate.com.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Top 3, and great job by Dan Hayes, our CSN insider. He had penned some wonderful stories from down in the minors, including a story about Zach Collins and Yasmani Grandal last week. And good to hear the minor league information from Dan after a lengthy trip through the South in some unnamed states as yet.
Nice time of year to drive through that country.
No humidity at all, certainly.
None at all, and no heat. No, I'm sure that it was just a delight.
Yeah.
Of course, don't forget, Dan was getting minor league meal money, which is, what, $1.50 a day these days?
Well, when I was there, it was about 30.
Really?
Per day. But, you know, for the players, you tip the clubhouse attendants.
Yeah.
And then you don't have a whole lot left.
No, that's it.
As it goes. 2-0 on Escobar. Dylan Covey in for Carson Fulmer. And that's ball 3. Covey on 3-0 is inside for ball 4. It's a leadoff walk for Escobar. Hey, Sox fans, for the first time ever, the Chicago White Sox are offering a limited edition Cancer Ribbon White Sox cap. A portion of every cap sold will aid Chicago White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in supporting cancer research. Caps are available in park at the Chicago Sports Depot and online for a limited time. Strike number 1 to Buxton. Twins with 4 walks in the game so far. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to Byron Buxton. Twins are a half game back of the Angels for that second wild card spot with the loss in game number 1. So Minnesota would certainly like to recoup that game, with the Angels playing late tonight against the Rangers. Buxton way behind, 1-2.
That ball in on his hands and he couldn't do anything with it. It wasn't that it was overpowering, it was the location in a perfect spot.
One hopper and nicely stabbed by Kevin Smith. 2-2.
Yeah, that's one of those where you put the glove there and you certainly hope the ball finds it, because there's no way you can judge where the ball is going to be. This is well out in front of the plate. He just goes up and there it is, stuck in the glove. Stopped a wild pitch.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3, and down goes Buxton. You saw maybe earlier the young man who had the ball taken away from him unceremoniously, or that he handed to somebody, according to Steve. This is Brooks Boyer, the Sox senior vice president for sales and marketing, who just decided that, you know what, we're going to go ahead and make this thing right. So he brought a baseball, and Steve and I signed for him, and
yeah, I thought it was in poor taste when he said, "You have one that's not signed." But other than that, that was a very nice gesture by Brooks.
A thoughtful man, Brooks Boyer.
And the young man has his souvenir.
You still are going to take up the cause for the young lady who...
No, she's got her souvenir. She asked nicely for it, and then he gave it to her.
It's amazing what facts can be twisted to. Here's Polanco. And the ball gets away. Escobar up to second base. What would you see the other? It was like a month ago, maybe. Dwayne Kuiper at one point left the booth to go out to see a fan who was wearing a Kuiper jersey. I want to say they were in Oakland.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was a Glenn Kuiper jersey because his brother broadcast for the Oakland team.
I think it was the Giants.
Are you sure?
Well, maybe. They're stuck on their phones for the rest of the night, by the way. Hey, guess what happened? Yeah, we know. We watched you have the ball snatched from your hands. They're done talking for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's it. No communication whatsoever. They'll be texting everybody they know, and then a few people you know.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. One ball and two strikes on Polanco. I think the most shocking part to me of the whole process was that you were playing defense attorney. I never fancied you as a defense attorney.
I was taking up the cause of The young woman who asked nicely for the ball. And,
Okay.
yeah.
You're still going with that one?
Sure.
Huh?
Assuming we lose the video, that should be pretty accurate.
1-2 on Polanco. Now I want to know what she said in order to get him to release the ball, if anything, or if she just grabbed it out of his hand. Looked like she said something.
Yeah, look over there.
Count all those bulbs in the light tower. Escobar at second, one down. And that is strike three. Dylan Covey back-to-back strikeouts here in the third.
Nick Lentz said that he did swing at it. Very likely to have been a strike anyway. And that's well too far for Polanco, who's had quite an evening. And still more than half a game to go.
Two down, Castro. And a foul ball. You find that definition of swing in the rule book yet? I know
Nope.
you've been looking.
There is none.
Nope.
Umpire discretion.
That always ends well without
Well,
controversy.
Sometimes not so well, but yeah.
Oh, 1 on the ground, second base. Hansen for out number 3. Leadoff walk, no harm done. Bottom 3 coming next.
Preseason performances of quarterbacks Mike Glennon and Mitch Trubisky and what each guy faces moving forward. Plus, breaking down the best of Bears training camp. Subscribe today.
Nice work by Dylan Covey to pitch around the leadoff walk. And a little one getting to stay up past bedtime for game 2 of this doubleheader. Saladino, Hansen, and Engel coming up to face Dylan G, who's allowed nothing so far. Only 1 ball's left the infield. As there's strike 1 to Saladino. Dylan G, as we showed you off the top of the show, has had a very nice career against the Sox and staked to quite the early lead tonight.
Well, the boys will have a little better look at him second time through.
Escobar at third, sleek for out number 1. This summer, head to your favorite store and grab some cold Modelo Especial. Perfect to enjoy while watching the White Sox. While there, enter for a chance to win tickets to a White Sox game. No purchase necessary. Ends August 27th. Visit crownimportscontest.com for rules. Modelo is imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Here's Alan Hansen looking to be the first Sox base runner tonight in Game 2. Well, look, the Twins nearly came back from 7-1 down in Game 1, so why not the Sox here in Game 2 from 6 behind? You don't have any good reason.
No, you just have to keep picking up a run here and there, eventually trying to grind them down.
Two and 0. That's a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike to Alan Hansen.
Outfield straight away. That time Allen got around a little too quickly.
Dylan G from 2010 to 2015 with the Mets. Grand total of 110 major league starts. And he gets a fly ball left side. Just out of the infield, Adrianza with Polanco nearby. We've had enough people taking baseballs from one another tonight. Polanco swipes that one from Adrianza for out number 2.
I think from Polanco's standpoint, he's got to give way a little bit more quickly and give Adrianza a chance to make that play, because it's an easy play for him, complicated, with Polanco being right in on his doorstep. He's calling for it, and Polanco almost runs into him.
That wasn't the nicest look you'll ever get.
Well, he's kind of wondering, what are you doing here exactly? Explain that to me.
In the air, right field side, Rosario watches it fly foul off the bat of Adam Engel. And a nice catch by a fan who is very excited about himself. And now, rightfully so.
And now that woman from the left field corner is going to go over to the right field corner and ask him nicely for the baseball. Then Brooks is going to go to Berwin.
Oh, that poor lady's getting texts now, too. I'm sure she's a wonderful lady.
Sure.
I feel kind of bad for her.
She's got the souvenir.
You've made her out to be a villain.
No, I thought that she asked very nicely. You might recall. And we'll check the tape.
Oh, no. We erased that, remember? Two balls and a strike for Engel. And now 3-1, so 1 ball away from becoming the first base runner of the game. There's always a complete story, though. She's got her own side of this thing tonight.
Yes.
And she's got a baseball.
And so does the young man that she asked so kindly for that ball. He's also got a souvenir.
3-2 for Engel from G. Called strike 3. That was a little bit off the plate, but Dylan G goes 1 through 9 without a base runner. 6-0 after 3. 2. What is it, Steve?
We do, in case you win, if you're lucky enough to win this whole thing, because bear in mind it was combined first and second game. We have a fully cooked hot dog. Yes. Here. It arrived a touch late.
Here. Oh, am I a really nice guy that just asked for the hot dog very nicely?
Sure, and it's yours.
That's how it works?
That's it.
Just take things from people now.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your donation to the prize shelf. Can you tax deduct a hot dog?
I don't think so, no.
2 balls and no strikes on Adrianza. And now 3-0. If you played along with Sox math in game 1, you have a portion of the answer already. If you didn't play along in game 1, you're in big trouble. Ask a friend. Three and 0. And that's a strike called to Adrianza. A-Ray Adrianza with a walk and a run in that 6-run second inning. And ball 4, leadoff walk. And here is your Sox math question. Hashtag Sox math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize. All right, the answer from game 1 minus the number of times the Sox scored in the Texas finale, and then add Carson Fulmer's Major League Baseball starts prior to today. So that's your Sox math question for game number 2. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize shelf that may or may not be edible.
That hot dog is there. It looks awfully tempting.
Will you sign it with a Sharpie?
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Dozier takes a strike. I like the idea that the Sharpie is the thing that makes it inedible.
That's
after travel via U.S. mail.
Bear in mind, you get that on a Wednesday, it costs you $1. Tonight, you get it for free. That's a terrific deal.
Uh-huh. 0-1. Adrianza's off. Throws a 1 hopper, and Adrianza swipes a bag.
Bob Rosenberg right on it, giving us the official score of it is a stolen base. Way to go, Bob. That's number 8 in 9 attempts.
His powers of deduction continue to stupefy. 1-1 on Dozier. Hard hit to the pull side. Adrianza to third. Runners at the corners for Minnesota here in the 4th.
Brian Dozier is swinging it real well, and if you make a mistake, he's going to hit it hard. This is a breaking ball that was right over the middle of the plate. He ropes it through the left side.
So first and third, nobody out. And Rosario. Walk in the second inning, and a pop up to third in the first. Delmonico nearly stepped on Dozier and may have.
Well, Dillon came over to first base with authority. He had a lot on that throw.
We have StatCast on that.
But you do have a good base stealer at first base.
Dylan Covey tasked with the job Nick Turley had in game 1 for Minnesota. That's eat up innings out of the bullpen.
You can hold him right there. Maybe the offense comes back to life second time through the order.
Could be 2. Hansen to Saladino, and he loads up a double play throw. Adrianza scores. It's 7-0, but the Sox take the 2 outs.
Good job on the pivot by Tyler Saladino, because he had to port across and get it there very quickly. throw pulled him off the bag, but he had Rosario by plenty. Bob Rosenberg does make the announcement of no RBI. For those who are watching their first baseball game ever, if you hit into a double play with a man at third and nobody out, you don't get the run batted in credit. In case you were wondering what happens when you hit into a double play.
You're going to tell me about the Rabbits too?
Yes.
Ball and a strike on Mauer. Bob Rosenberg is going to come over here and beat you upside the head with your hot dog.
Ooh, no, not that.
From the prize shelf. 1-1 to Mauer. And it's fouled away third base side. That Camberwell gets peppered again. This one on the ground.
It's been a very hazardous place to be. The Camberwell just to the outfield side of the Sox dugout. And Jimmy Tianis,
happy to be there.
He is.
Hi, Jim.
He needs a hard hat.
Well,
that was a perfect pitch and he didn't get it.
Two balls, two strikes. Left field, Garcia on the dive makes the catch. Twins get a run. Leury Garcia makes sure it's not more. Head first in game 2.
The journey of the Lovables, one of the most recognized dance teams in sports. Check out new episodes of the Lovables Full Court Press every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. on CSN Chicago's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages, as well as csnchicago.com/lovables.
A lot of stuff going up on those CSN social media platforms. It's a good night for ice cream. Good night.
A great night for it.
First pitch is a strike on Garcia. So 9 up, 9 down for Dylan G so far.
He's been changing speeds on his fastball and doing a nice job of spotting it. So far, he's had pinpoint control.
You've mentioned that a couple times in the course of the doubleheader. Why is it so important to change speeds on the fastball?
Well, let's assume, and I'll tell you, just looking at the numerical aspect of it, let's say you have.
It's called strike 3, 1 away.
Let's say you have a fastball, a slider, and a change. So if you're going to sit out there and guess, you have 33% chance of being successful. But if you change speeds on your fastball, all of a sudden that percentage drops because you can guess fastball, but if you throw it 3 different speeds, you're not going to be able to guess the speed. That way, you can get away with a location problem if it's a different speed. But if you're throwing 1 speed of fastball and you miss your location, that's going to get hit hard. And that's the reason why guys throw, well, the 2 and the 4-seamer, obviously, on the fastball. The 4-seamer has backward spin. It's your fastest fastball. The 2-seamer has a little side spin and usually will, from a right-hand pitcher, move away from the left-hand hitter. But again, if you only have the 1 speed, not that difficult if you miss with your location. That's why changing the speeds of the fastball is so important.
On 2 strikes, a fly ball left center field. Adrianza makes the call and has it for round number 2. And here's your Sox math winner. The answer from game number 1 was 55, minus 3 times in the finale in the run column for the Sox in Texas, plus 0 other starts for Carson Fulmer. 52 is your answer. White Sox 24601 or 8675309 or whatever it is your champion. 061-705.
Yeah, that too. They're both champions.
Yeah, he's both Jenny and John Valjean. It's ball number 1 to Abreu. You're not a big Les Mis guy?
I was Les Mis watching it, but it's 7 hours? What is it?
It's only 3. Come on.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No.
It's the same total running time as your average baseball game thereabouts.
Not lately, it's not.
Les Mis has changed? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I think that those 2 fans are at the 3 fans are at the wrong game. Thanks for coming, but
they're making a tour of every park.
In the air, right side. And Rosario makes the catch. Don't look down, but Dylan G has retired 12 in a row to start the game. Our White Sox insider all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. I had a question for you. This has been rolling around in my mind, and I want to see where you would stand on it.
Okay.
If you were a baseball manager, say we change the rules. Okay, we're just going to make a massive overhaul to American League rules. You either get your regular lineup 1 through 9, DH, same defense, everything like we have on the card tonight, or before the game you can choose to have an 8-man lineup, no DH, and the pitcher. Okay, so you're taking away the DH, and the pitcher cannot be pinch hit for. Every pitcher has to hit for himself. Okay, so those are your two options, but you get an extra defender if you take the 8-man lineup with the pitcher. So 10 defenders. As this ball is hit to center field, Adam Engel is over for out number 1. So 10 defenders and an 8-man lineup with a pitcher that can't be pinch hit for, or your regular 9-man lineup with the DH. You get to pick before every game. Where do you think managers would lean nowadays?
Well, there would be some who would love the extra defender. There would be more that would go with the extra hitter. I think there would be more that did that, but because it's not going to happen, why don't you just have one if there was a squirrel attack? You got to do something different than you normally would do.
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, I mean, it's
if you're given the chance, do you want an extra defender right now or an extra hitter in Major League Baseball?
I would go with the extra hitter. There would be a lot of people that go with the extra defender.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting on a night-to-night basis, see where the managers were to land, if you could pick every night.
We don't have anything of that fabled squirrel attack at Greater Greensboro.
It's unlikely that it's happened, no. But you know, there's still some time left in this game, right? I mean, there's still some time for that fabled squirrel siege.
I don't know. It was an interesting hypothesis on what guys would do. I think it'd be pretty well split.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Huh. I think the enticement of taking the extra defender might lean people that direction. A 10th guy out there, especially with the proliferation of shifts and everything, you could have the pitcher bunt.
Well, he would be stuck doing that because you can't pinch hit for him. What if he gets knocked out of the game?
Well, then the next pitcher has to hit. You can never pinch hit for that spot, is what I'm saying.
Now I get it.
0-2, fouled away by Escobar. It's never going to happen, but I think it's interesting to think about what's more important nowadays in Major League Baseball.
I think one of the questions would be, where would you put your extra defender?
Yeah, and it depends on each batter, right?
No, because your extra defender, if he's an outfielder, moving him to the infield is not going to help you too much. If he's an infielder who can't run very well, moving him to the outfield won't help you.
To first base and past Delmonico into right field. And there goes Escobar for second, and there goes Escobar to the bench. Cut down from right field, and Avi Garcia.
Escobar wants him to take another look at it, but that throw is right there by Avi. And Avi is very accurate. He's got a wet baseball to deal with, and he comes up and makes a good throw. The throw beats him. The question then becomes, does he tag the knee before his foot gets on the bag? And it looked like, although that wasn't the best angle, looks like they got him. I'm thinking he's out.
So is he. They're not going to challenge.
So it'll go as single, and the out goes 9-6.
So 2 down, and Buxton with a long fly ball to left field. Garcia back at the wall, and this ball is out of here. A home run for Byron Buxton.
If you're with us in the first game, we told you that Buxton has completely changed his style of hitting. Gone is the high leg kick. Here is very much of a spread out stance. A Ford home run replay, and eventually we'll get there. I mean, he's very fast between pitches.
We told you about his speed.
Oh, it's tremendous speed. You see no stride, and that's the thing that allows him to stay back a lot better than he used to. He used to be out front of every breaking ball, every off-speed pitch. He was well out in front, and he was only using just left field. That was it. Now he's going back up the middle, but that was a bomb.
And that's just since April. I mean, that's a change in season this season as Hansen throws out Polanco to retire the side, but Buxton's home run adds to the Twins' lead at 8-0. Forward to it. Minnesota has jumped out to a big lead here tonight in game 2, 8-0, including a 6-run second inning against Carson Fulmer, who had that 1-2-3-7 pitch first inning.
In the meantime, if Nicky wants it, he's got a bunt for a hit.
How about a swing away deep to right field? Delmonico breaks the perfect game, no-hitter and shutout, all in one crack of the bat.
That's home run number 6, RBI number 12. And what a start to the major league career of Nicky Delmonico. Nicky has played in 19 games. He's hit 6 home runs and driven in 12. And Rosario making an attempt, comes up short. Our Ford home run replay.
First base runner is a base walker, and with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. And Nicky Delmonico tags one. Now Garcia with a long fly ball to left center field, but Adrianza is there for out number 1. Nicky Delmonico.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable story. I mean, it's just an absolutely remarkable story. Getting an opportunity because of injury to Avi. He comes up, steps in, and you can hardly pry him out of that lineup. He's hitting in excess of 350 with the 6 home runs and 12 driven in.
He's on base about half the time.
Yeah, well, that's another amazing part. He'll take walks to go with it.
And you mentioned the bunt possibility before that home run. He's laid down 3 of those bunts for hits.
Yeah, no, it's been a remarkable early part of his major league career.
Towering fly ball center field. Byron Buxton for out number 2. Steve, you mentioned the squirrel attack possibility. Time for a Miller Lite game report. We have breaking news from Sierra Santos on the squirrel front. Sierra?
Yeah, Jason, I wanted to give you guys the background info on the rally squirrel. So the rally squirrel is actually Kevin Smith. Matt Davidson gave him the nickname Squirrel because sometimes he tends to be a little bit of a space cadet. So the stuffed squirrel first appeared during the series with the Astros, and of course it stuck because the team got the sweep. So there's 4 or 5 squirrels, and you can find them everywhere, in the dugout, in the clubhouse, in the offices. So it's become somewhat of a rally cry for these guys, and Kevin Smith had a really good idea. He wants to make it a giveaway, but I think maybe first we start off with the prize shelf. What do you think, guys?
I'm in. But Steve's a little afraid of squirrels. He thinks they're going to attack at all times.
No, my
shown
feeling,
earlier.
anytime you can put a squirrel on your prize shelf, go for it. I'm ready.
Why don't we have bumper stickers made for your cars that say, anytime you can put a squirrel on your prize shelf, go for it. What a way to walk through life.
Yes. Great.
Words to live by. Thanks, Sierra. Pitch is high now. Saladino has the count well in his favor at 3-1. The rally squirrel here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
How about that?
It was clinging to the batting cage the other day. This one skips to second. Brian Dozier for out number 3, but Nicky Delmonico took a bite on a Dylan G. A solo home run to right field. Hey, Nicky, it's 8-1. The rest of this season. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal. August 23rd, Sox and Twins, 7:10 p.m. Buy tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
And having one of them this evening, I will tell you that those Vienna dogs are wonderful. Take advantage of them while they last. Isn't that usually what they say?
Yeah.
Take advantage while they last.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 5 billion, but take advantage while they last.
Difficult to take advantage while they're not lasting, actually.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Good hot dogs, though. No doubt about it.
Those folks are doing the individual wave on the camera. Castro to center field. Angle back at the track of the wall, and Castro sends it out of here.
7th home run, 36 driven in for Jason Castro, former #1 draft pick of the Houston Astros. Now found a long-term home with Minnesota. They signed him to a 3-year deal. And our fourth home run replay, it's a breaking ball that Castro tracks all the way and takes it out over the 400-foot mark.
This ball grounded to first, and Delmonico retiring Adrianza. So there's a new business that's opened in Chicago. I don't know if you heard about it. It's Chris Kamka's Swap Meet.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I like all kinds of meat.
Chris is going to give us 2 different people or teams, things that we have to choose from, but we don't get to see what we're buying.
Okay.
So we have to pick which one we want, on the left or on the right.
Yes.
They seem pretty even.
Well, they are almost identical, except 6 points in batting average, the home runs, 3 up for the guy on the left, and so on and so forth.
I'm taking the guy on the right.
Okay, I'll take the guy on the left.
Wonder who we bought.
Well, actually, you should take the guy on the left. I should take the guy on the right.
Why?
Because that's our political bent.
Well, it's the 6th inning. We're going to hop into the politics realm. So you may want to stick around for this one.
So you're going to stick with the guy on the right, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to take the guy on the right.
Okay.
Rarely do I ever say that.
I know. I can't believe that, Donald Jr. I'm going to take the guy on the left. How's that?
Ah, that sounds great. Implausible, but great. 2 balls and a strike on Dozier. Yeah, they're not going to let us do double headers again, are they?
I don't think so. Or swap meets.
2-1 is hit in the air first base side. Delmonico into foul territory. And he makes the catch for out number 2. What do we buy at Kamka's Swap Meet? I got the guy on the right.
Yeah, I got the guy on the left.
Oh, I took Joe Mauer and you took Pedroia. I want Pedroia.
No, you can't get him.
Wow.
You cannot get him, righty.
Those numbers are close.
They're very
for
close.
Those 2. Would you have expected that? I would have thought Pedroia's might have been bigger than Mauer's career.
Well, I think the most amazing thing is the war between both of these guys playing, 2 distinctly different positions. And now Joe has moved to first base. But, it's 2 terrific players. And I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. But now Joe Mauer's a first baseman, not a catcher. And that would factor in. And, of course, neither of us knew who we were picking or what position they played. But that would be certainly a consideration. But, yes, you're right. The numbers are unbelievably similar between 2 guys diametrically opposed. A big guy who hits left-handed, a lot smaller guy who hits right-handed, and an MVP
for each of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A couple world championships for Pedroia, although the surrounding cast has a great deal to do with championships.
I don't know. Instinctively, I felt like maybe Pedroia's numbers would be a little bit above where Mauer was, but maybe that's partly because he gets so much publicity for the postseason stuff. Saw Chris Beck loosening up. Dylan Covey has done a nice job of just getting the Sox some innings. Yeah, he's given up a few runs, but he's gotten the Sox into the 6th here tonight.
And with no days off moving forward, anytime you can save the bullpen some innings, you're getting the job done. As we saw in the first game with Turley, who came in through 3 2/3 in relief of Melville, who threw 3 1/3.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Eddie Rosario. And a 1 hopper. Sox and Twins will play 3 more after this one. Kyle Gibson versus Lucas Giolito tomorrow. That's a 7:10 start time if you would like to come out to see Giolito's White Sox debut. Delmonico at first. And all 3 outs in the inning. Twins get another on the Castro home run. We'll play bottom 6 after this. Receive a Merck's cheese spread game card. Good for savings on delicious Merck's cheese in the deli or dairy case at your local grocer. Watching the White Sox and saving on Merck's cheese. Some fans have all the luck. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. A couple of Twin fans taking it in, wearing the official uniform of the North, plaid. Alan Hansen with a foul ball for strike one. So the Sox have one run on one hit, and it was a Nicky Delmonico solo homer to lead off the fifth. We taped a segment with Nicky Delmonico. You may have seen it on whitesox.com or the White Sox Twitter, where we asked a bunch of random questions to Nicky.
I saw the segment. I thought it was terrific.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was nice.
How about the story that Nicky told about his trip on his dirt bike? He goes dirt biking and gets lost. They go off the trail. He's lost for hours, like 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the evening, lost. And finally found some folks with water and found the trail again. And there is out number one. But a very likable guy, Nicky Delmonico, we found out.
He is that, and you gave him a lot of diverse questions with the baseballs out of the bin.
And you can, by the way, if you want to add questions to our bin, hashtag SoxHopper, that's what we're calling it. So send in your own questions that we can ask Nicky or his teammates. I don't think we're going to do another one with Nicky, but maybe we'll get a SoxHopper with Chris Kamka. He's too busy running his swap meet.
I thought originally you meant swamp meat. But then I found out it was not that. I was terribly disappointed.
I don't know about your experiences that we haven't heard about. I feel a little bit of an issue there. 2-1 to Engel. Dylan G gets a swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You saw exactly how you can make a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, which is right about major league average, how you can make it as close to unhittable as possible, and that is a high fastball that he threw by him on the inside part of the plate. Nice jersey. It looks like the 73 jersey that I once wore.
That's a called strike 3. Engel Didn't like either of them tonight. A couple of strikeouts looking for Adam, 2 away.
Adam thought that was up and away, and Nick Lentz thought otherwise.
Two out, bases clear for Garcia.
As a general philosophy, 9-1 second game of doubleheader. If it's close, you're better off swinging.
Yeah.
Maybe you can foul it off or get a base hit.
Are you making the argument that circumstance may affect the strike zone?
No.
You're not?
No. I'm just saying that at 9-1 in the second game of doubleheader, which, by the way, doesn't happen very much.
Right.
When it does,
there's this specific circumstance. Garcia shoots it into right center field, and he will turn on the Jets. This could be 3 for Leury Garcia. And he discards his hat on the way to second and stops right there. So a 2-out double for Garcia here in the 6th.
Wise choice to pull up, and maybe he could have made it to third base, but he'd have been the third out, and you're way behind in this one. Leary's got terrific speed. He's thinking about 3, but Buxton got it back in pretty quickly, and he throws real well.
Any juggle, he's probably going for third.
And well, there's actually not much that Byron Buxton does not do well as a center fielder, certainly. And now that he started to hit the ball, he's finally living up to what they thought he was going to be when they drafted him in the first round.
2 hits for the Sox tonight, both extra base hits. And Sanchez takes the ball.
Bullpen up and going. It's Tyler Duffy.
If you're looking, saying 66 pitches and he's throwing well, why would somebody be up? Dylan G has been a bullpen arm for some of this season, so stretching him out to 100 pitches or something like that isn't the ideal for Paul Molitor or for G.
He's already gotten every bit of what he could have expected when he sent G to the mound tonight. Got a huge lead, and he's into the 6th.
Left field side and foul, 2-1.
Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS, and it's Yomer. 99.6 exit velocity, 27.6 launch angle, and projected 404 feet. That was in game 1 when all was beautiful. That was his 6th home run.
Yomer drove in 4 in that game, and here this ball to center field. Buxton ranging over for round number 3. Garcia stranded. Will play the 7th after this in game 2 of the Twin Bill.
As Lucas Giolito makes his White Sox debut against the Twins. Coverage begins at 7 on CSN, or stream the game on the NBC Sports app or at csnchicago.com. And Chris Beck comes in the ball game. He is the third of the Sox pitchers in the nightcap. On for the 46th time. He's 2-1. His ERA an even 6.
We heard Dan Hayes talking about Lucas Giolito and his second half of the season. He threw that 7-inning shutout back on July the 8th. And remember, he had the no-hitter against the AAA Nationals back on May the 25th. But it was sort of an uneven first half for Giolito, and he has really improved in the second half of this season. We'll see him tomorrow.
Well, if you missed Dan Hayes earlier, he said that Lucas worked very hard on simplifying his motion. Felt he had too many moving parts early to repeat his delivery, so now with a simplistic motion, the delivery much more repeatable, and the success has been consistent.
First pitch from Beck is ball number 1 to Joe Mauer. Dylan Covey 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. The inning number is the big one there for Covey. We've heard a lot about Giolito's curveball and how dangerous it can be to opposing hitters.
Like every other guy that throws a good curveball, keeping it in the zone when you want it in the zone is the key. And then knowing when to bury it in the dirt is the ability to control the pitch, not just trying to throw it for a strike, but moving it to both sides of the plate if you can, which is something that Giolito has been working on.
When you say throw it in the zone, keep it in the zone when you want it in the zone.
Yeah, for instance, I'm facing you, let's say, and
seems like a mismatch.
Well, you know, I'd pitch from 130 feet, but you're trying to get the first curveball over the plate, knowing that you're not going to swing at a curveball most likely on the first pitch. So that's a pitch that you want to throw over the plate and maybe take a little something off to get it in the zone. When I have to go to get you out, I'm not going to throw the same curveball I threw on the first pitch. I'm going to throw one that looks like a strike but then dips out of the zone, because very rarely, I mean, it takes exceptional pitchers to be able to consistently get hitters out in the strike zone. Most pitchers don't have good enough stuff to do that. And it sounds strange, because if you're a major league pitcher, seemingly you should be able to get guys out in the strike zone with your best stuff. It just doesn't work out that way because the hitters are too good. So you set a guy up early in the count to wipe him out with a breaking ball that looks like a strike but dips out of the zone, either a slider or curveball. And the guys who win consistently are guys that have command of those pitches. Throw it out of the zone when they want to, in the zone when they want to.
Hansen at second, throws out Mauer at first. Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field as the Sox take on the Rays. It's Saturday, September 2nd. First 20,000 fans get a Mark Burley bobblehead presented by Toyota. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today, or call 866-SOX-GAME. If Burley bobblehead day is anything like Burley number retirement day, it's going to be a madhouse.
I was saying, or any other day honoring Mark Burley for anything. Very popular man wherever he went, but never any more popular than he was in this city. He's a beloved guy, and justifiably so. I mean, fans gravitated to all that was Mark Burley because of what a wonderful guy he is.
A little bit high, 1-1, and there you see the newest number retired in between Frank and Carlton. Ball and a strike from Beck to Vargas. I was talking to Aaron Rowand about that in the series in LA, and he said he was really disappointed he couldn't be here. Had a vacation planned and wasn't able to be here, but he watched it and was overjoyed, like so many of the people here. I mean, the heartfelt feeling for Mark Burley from teammates and fans alike is really unlike what you see normally from anybody. I mean, those ceremonies are always very nice, but the true love for the guy ran through this stadium.
But what you don't see very often is, number one, a guy that excels over a long period of time, which Mark Buehrle did. Number two, stays with one team for a great deal of time, which Mark Buehrle did. And then you take into consideration the guy that he is. Put them all together and you have a beloved member of a team that won the World Championship for the Sox.
Ripped to center by Vargas. And a one-out single. Cleveland, by the way, has come back to beat Boston tonight, so the Twins are in danger of, even with a win in this game, losing a half game on the division leaders.
Yeah, they obviously have to go each and every day with the belief that they're going to catch the Indians. They're not going to catch the Indians.
You don't think?
No, I do not.
Even with Andrew Miller hurt again?
Well, that's a problem for them, and that happened tonight. He came off the disabled list after a knee problem, pitched and irritated the knee once again.
Escobar to shortstop. Saladino the pick, the stomp, and the throw for a double play. Sox have turned two prolifically tonight. 3 double plays in game 2.
Cam, bring the fun home.
Oh boy.
Happens every time there's an eclipse.
There's Warren Zevon. I thought it was Beatles night, but we got the Werewolves of London here.
Tyler Duffy comes in the ballgame on for the 45th time. We've seen him at his best where his curveball is close to unhittable. 2-3, the ERA of 3.99. And he had some problems with curveball consistency and had a talk with Bert Blyleven, the Hall of Famer who threw 60 shutouts and happens to broadcast games for the Minnesota Twins. He suggested to Duffy that he make an adjustment by moving on the mound and moving to the extreme third base side, which would give him a better angle for the curveball. Since then, Duffy has been pretty good.
ERA sub 4 for the year. And there's ball 1. And here is Bert Blyleven.
Hall of Famer. Wonderful pitcher. Great curveball. State of the art curveball, as a matter of fact.
Has very good awareness for when he's on television as well.
Well, being a TV guy and all.
It's not necessarily a requirement for the job.
No, true.
One ball, one strike on Abreu. On the ground to third, Escobar. Nice play backing up, and a dagger of a throw for out number 1. Well done by Escobar.
Paul Molitor loves to have this guy around because there's no position he can't play. And he knows exactly how fast Abreu is, so he's able to give up some ground because he's got a very strong and very accurate arm, and he gets him by plenty.
Not an easy play, looked very simple.
No, he's just a very good player and was when he was here.
Now Delmonico, who broke the shutout and the perfect game in the 5th and broke his bat here. Less ceremonial here in the 7th. No balls and a strike on Delmonico. White Sox record 6 homers in his first 19 career games. And you think of the power hitters, frankly, even just Frank Thomas not doing that, but some of the power hitters who've been here. Delmonico now owns that record and the on-base streak to start a White Sox career at 13. How about that?
That's pretty remarkable. And no sooner was the streak broken than he picked it right up again.
Yeah, he's on base 18 of 19 games.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh, 2. There was the inside the park home run when he played Yenta with Nomar Mazara and the right field wall.
Nomar went down. I wasn't sure he was going to get up.
I was surprised he stayed in the game.
He did that as Brad Goldberg loosens in the pen.
That's what I do while you guys are on the road. I sit and shout at my television. Why is he staying in the game?
Well, when Mazara went down in Texas, it looked like he was really hurt. I think he's done a nice job twice of checking up very close pitches.
Two and 2 from Duffy to Delmonico. Right side. Dozier's over. Duffy covers. Neatly done by Minnesota's infield.
Boy, that's an outstanding effort. Because Brian Dozier going to his left, he's got to hit a moving target on the run going away from the throw. He flips it across. Duffy is there to make the catch, and they made a really difficult play look easy. That's a tough play by Dozier. Duffy got there. They cut down Delmonico easily, but that's just an outstanding effort on the part of Brian Dozier.
I don't think you can oversell how tough that throw is.
No, because he's got to let it go. As he's moving away, he can't bring the ball with him. He's got to let it go and actually throw it behind him. And he got it there perfectly.
And there's the breaking ball from Duffy.
Yeah, that's, well, that curveball now is really tough. He had a hard time getting it in the neighborhood before. It's been consistent this year.
Two down for Avi. That just dives into the dirt, and now 2 strikes as DJ Rayburn says Avi went around. Kind of is as sharp as a slider, but the movement's more curveball movement.
No, he's got curveball spin on it. I mean, it's over the top spin, not side spin, and it does go down quickly. But he's going to see a fastball here. Let's see where he throws it.
In on the hands and a pop-up. Right side, and Buxton coming from center field for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning for Duffy. We'll play the 8th after this.
eClick.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland, is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened. It's a good boom tonight.
Good boom.
Yeah, quality boom.
Not a baby boom.
No.
Large boom.
Very big one.
You buy those at Boomtown?
Oh, no.
Just wondering. Right next to Kamka's swamp meet. Buxton, Polanco, and Castro batting here in the 8th against Chris Beck, who's the second reliever used in Game 2 for the Sox. It was Farquhar, Holland, Petrichka, Minaya in back of Rodon in Game number 1. And now Covey and Beck behind Carson Fulmer, who did not have the start he wanted. Just 1 1/3 tonight. 4 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks. A couple of 3-run homers did Carson in today. And Byron Buxton, as we were going to break, you and I were talking off air about the play he made on the final out of the bottom of the 7th inning.
It looked like it was going to be a really difficult play because as both guys moved toward it, and I'm talking about Dozier and Rosario, became clear that it was going to be a very difficult play for either one of them. Buxton, who can fly, just came right across and made the play very easily at the end of the inning.
Twins played some defense in that bottom of the 7th. Play by Dozier and Duffy collaboratively on the ball to the right side of the infield, and Escobar at third with a very nice play for the first out.
Yeah, they did a nice job.
Ball and 2 strikes for Buxton, who singled and scored in that 6-run second inning, then homered for the lone run in the 5th.
Minnesota, one of the better defensive clubs in the league. They rank 4th.
Here's strike 3. Buxton goes down hunting for out number 1. Let's check your sticks and stone question for game number 2. No, who was the first Twin to hit a grand slam off you?
I'm going to guess Glenn Adams.
You are?
He's the only Twin to hit a grand slam off me.
Congratulations.
And Gary Maddox was the other one. Philadelphia right-hand hitter.
So here's the thing. Our question, folks, listened to you. You said, thank you for not asking me about Glenn Adams in game number 1.
Yes.
And so we tend to not like to do nice things for you.
Yes.
So we asked about Glenn Adams here in game number 2.
But at least they got it right.
Well, we're not sure yet. We haven't revealed it. Don't ruin the reveal. Those people keep doing the wave when we're looking at left-handed batters. And there are a lot of lefties in this lineup.
Yes, I think it's the Twin plaid.
7 lefties. The 3-person wave is really not a good look. Sorry, kids. I think they know when the red lights say out. They do. Hams.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Overactors.
Double headers. Make it tough.
0-2 in the air, left center field. We should send Patty Larceny over to steal one of their baseballs. 2 down, and here's the big reveal. Glenn Adams is the correct answer. As you said, you win nothing and like it.
That was at the old ballpark. That was at Metropolitan Stadium.
Before the Metrodome.
Very short fence. And he happened to take it out.
You over it?
No.
Oh, good.
Maybe next year.
Glad to see you're not holding grudges from
No.
1977. Ball 1 to Castro, who scored twice in this game. One and one.
Twins figure that in signing Castro to a 3-year deal, they're going to have a veteran catcher, a guy who can still hit the ball pretty well and certainly knows how to catch. And while he is the primary catcher, they're going to ease the guy that they feel is going to be their number one. And that's Garver, who we saw play first base and catch a bit in the opener. They believe he's going to be their everyday guy down the road, and Garver can learn from Jason Castro.
One, two, way up high. There are things to learn from veteran catchers. You don't want to have two young catchers on the same team for multiple reasons.
True, and you know, a young catcher especially has to have time to develop, and Garver's going to need that time. Castro can give it to him.
I think that was the idea for the Sox behind having Giovanni Soto on the roster at the beginning of the season, is to have that veteran presence. Gio got hurt, but that was kind of the plan.
And he's still around every now and then, still sharing the benefit of the many years he's played in the major leagues.
Three and two. Outside, ball four, 2-out walk for Castro, who has been an on-base maniac in his career. And here comes Ricky Renteria.
So Brad Goldberg's going to come in the ball game, and Chris Beck is going to depart, and we will step out as they come trotting in.
Now pitching for the White Sox, number 6.
Every night, every device, watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Brad Goldberg. He inherits Castro at first base. 2 outs here in the 8th inning, on for the 11th time, and as you can see, the ERA is way up there.
He'll face Ehire Adrianza, who's walked twice and scored twice. 6 walks for the Twins in the game, 3 have scored. Goldberg, ball 1. Dodgers have taken the lead on Pittsburgh tonight in the 12th, 6-5. So the Dodgers, after taking a loss to the Tigers, are now threatening to go 88-35. I mean, it's just wild. That ball,
I think the ball hit him.
Adrianza. Yeah. 88-35, the Dodgers.
Yeah, that got a piece of the shin.
Not as strong of a Dodger. Adrianza.
No. And now we got a pinch hitter.
Chris Jimenez will hit for Dozier. Two on, two out for Jimenez. Dozier finishes the doubleheader 4 for 8. Castro at second, Adrianza at first. One and one. Got a strike, 1 and 2 from Goldberg to Jimenez. Sox in the bottom of the 8th. They'll have Smith, Saladino, and Hansen coming up. Sox got a win in game 1 behind Carlos Rodon, 6 1/3, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and another 9 strikeouts. Into center field, tailing away from Engel and down. Castro comes home, and the Twins are in double figures here in game number 2.
Jimenez with his first pinch hit of the year. He's now 1 for 4 in that department as he gets one up, dumps it into center field. And it's 10-1.
Ten to 1, and Eddie Rosario the batter. So that run goes against Chris Beck, who does give up 1 run. That was earned. Inning and 2/3 for Beck. 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Fouled away, 1 and 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Adrianza at third, Jimenez at first. In the air left field. Garcia drifting back to the warning track. He makes the play. That'll do it. Twins get a run. Bottom 8 next. Post-game report, and look forward to Giolito's start tomorrow against these very same Minnesota Twins. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock. First pitch at 7:10. Giolito versus Kyle Gibson, who's got a 6.05 ERA for Minnesota. Kevin Smith lofts this ball first base side. Mauer over, and he can't make the play. A little bit out of his reach for strike one.
Joe had a long run and gave it everything he had, but Kevin gets another life.
Minnesota put this one away early, it seems, with 6 runs in the second inning. Duffy waiting for his fielders to get ready. You see Adrianza weighed down by his name being carried on his hat. Jimenez in left field, as per the new collective bargaining agreement. When you check in, you have to wear your name above your head for an inning. Can't even get it out anymore. 2 balls and a strike. On the ground at third, Escobar, who doesn't have to worry about his name floating above him, has out number 1.
Boy, Eduardo has a really strong and accurate arm. I mean, he's made a number of throws, and I don't think there's one that's been any place but the middle of Joe Mauer's body at first base.
You can put him a number of different places.
Yeah, too. Well, he's a shortstop by trade who can play any position you care to put him at, including the outfield, which we've seen him at a number of times.
One's out for Saladino, and Duffy hits the very edge for strike 1. So here's a little inside baseball for you. We have a button where I can talk to the TV truck, the folks in the truck. So I can say something to Chris Kamka or to Keon or to Jim in the truck, and I just hit the talkback button and said, who had Delmonico and picks to click in game number 2? And Steve, with his awesome hearing when it comes to winning for him, raised his hand in the air as though he was Arnold Horseshack and started waving. So congratulations on your pick-to-click victory there,
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is how it went.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had a tough first game. As my picks to click recently have gone 0 for 4, and if they only strike out twice, it's been a good night.
Strikeout number 1 for Duffy, 2 away here in the 8th. Sox fans, StubHub is your ticket to once-in-a-lifetime experiences. From Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. And by the way, if you do see Bob Grimm, the White Sox director of broadcasting, please ask him how that Bruno Mars concert was. He had a great time. He and his wife went at the UC.
I heard, this is just what I heard, and I don't know because this is secondhand. I heard that there's nobody in this country that's a bigger Bruno Mars fan than Bob Grimm.
Oh, yeah. He loved the concert.
Yeah. He was inquiring where he's going to appear next.
2 down for Hansen. And there is strike number 2. Bob has eclectic music tastes. Country Western, he says, is his favorite.
We should introduce him to Joe West.
Bruno Mars is second. 0-2 on Hansen. And a ball inside. Dylan G tonight for the Twins. The starter, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. He continues his mastery of the White Sox.
And no walks.
There's the breaking ball from Duffy. It's a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th. A doubleheader, just like 8 days a week. And it's the AAA debut of Michael Kopech tonight against the Norfolk Tides at lovely Harbor Park. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, just the 2 early runs, and he got the victory. Congratulations to Michael.
Sure, he's got to be a very happy young man. Kept the ball in the ballpark. He just has great stuff. When he gets it over the plate, doesn't matter what level he's at, he's going to be very tough to hit.
Wouldn't expect to see him here in Chicago at the end of this season, but we'll see what he does for his final couple of starts in AAA with Charlotte. That season ends very shortly.
I think for younger pitchers, that's probably a good thing. Make sure that you don't have to use them in more innings than you would like in the development stages of their careers.
Joe Mauer to Adam Engel. So now Vargas will bat. He is 1 for 3 in the doubleheader with a couple of walks, couple of runs. A run and a walk in game number 1. The late Minnesota rally that went wanting by a run. 7-6 the Sox winners in game 1. And the Twins are doing what the reports say in these 2 at-bats.
Swing away.
I was suggesting the shifts were playing properly, but yeah, 10-1. The other report says
second game of a doubleheader. Swing away.
Yeah, that's the unlisted report.
Especially because,
don't say it,
Roger Bossard, who's been right on the money tonight,
don't say it,
says the rain will be here in 15 to 20 minutes.
You said it.
Well,
how dare you?
You never know. He might be wrong, but I don't think so. Roger is right on the money. By the way, he also is not exactly incapacitated because he's not on the DL, but he is hobbling a touch. Apparently broke his toe.
Oh,
yes.
That's too bad. To second base, Alan Hansen for round number 3. Quick inning for Brad Goldberg. Bottom 9 next.
light, and here's our Miller moment. Polanco, a 3-run blast. And Ryan Dozier, a 3-run blast. A very difficult second inning, 6 of them chasing Carson Fulmer. Our Miller moments.
Tyler Duffy with a strike to Adam Engel. That was pretty much it. A couple of 3-run homers. And the Twins went away here in game number 2.
Well, Dylan G was overwhelming tonight.
Here's a drive to left field, and this one gets up and out of here. Adam Engel, a solo home run.
That's his 4th to go with 12 driven in. So it's been a very tough doubleheader for Adam Engel. He's played well defensively. This is his first hit. Our Ford home run replay, that fastball. Tried to get inside, couldn't get it there. And it was hit a long way.
Now Garcia for strike 1. .394 feet for the home run for Adam Engel.
Well hit.
Close pitch, didn't get it. 1-1. Ball and a strike on Garcia, who doubled last time up, and now Duffy gets that call. Count really should be 1-2, but flipped the last 2 pitches. Ball and 2 strikes. In the air, left field, Jimenez for out number 1. That's a former catcher playing left field.
Former, including game 1.
So 1 down for Sanchez, one of 11 players for the Sox right now who were active on opening day.
That's pretty amazing. Between injuries and trades and movement up and down. And introduce yourself to the current roster.
Twins look like they're going to go 7-2 in their last 9 games on this field. I'd like to say thank you to 4 people on our crew right now. The 4 people who worked both games of this doubleheader. Jimmy Tianis, our camera guy who had that ground ball come toward him in the camera well. Scott Jones in the tape room. Joe Vinci, our technical director. And Jim Angio, our Hall of Fame director. Working both games today, and that's not easy to do, especially with the setup. Oh, Frank D'Amato has been here for both games as well. Hi, Frank. There's Jim. So 5 people. I said 4, 5. Frank D'Amato has been here. The reason I forgot about Frank D'Amato is he hides behind this curtain like the wonderful Wizard of Oz in our booth. And he's creepily sneaking in front of the curtain, and I wish he'd never do that ever again.
Yeah, that's a strange look.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And that is outside, ball 4. So here's the thing. I left out a bunch of people. I thought it was just 4. Give me 1 second.
Way to go.
Danielle Denning from the Scorebug, Dave Campbell, video, Frank Leone in audio, Mike Kessel, Danny Mahar, our engineers, and Joe Group worked both games as well. So evidently I have difficulty with lists of things. Now Frank's still sneaking behind me. Frank's got to go. No more doubleheaders for Frank. No, but thank you to everybody for your hard work. All, however many that I missed the first time, but thank you all for your hard work in this doubleheader. My initial list was inaccurate because I can't read. First base side, Mauer, foul territory. That's a foul ball. It goes clanging down the line. No play, no error.
And justifiably so. That's a very difficult play for Mauer, who was out there in position but saw it slip away at the very end. Easier play, by the way, for Adrianza, but with nobody taking control, there is no out recorded.
Thanks to you, too, for working both games, Steve.
Well, you forgot Phil Polomsky.
I've never met Phil.
That's why you forgot him. He was a catcher of mine in amateur ball.
In the air center field, you have one more out to give us the entire biography of Phil Polomsky. What was that clicking sound I just heard? two down for Delmonico.
He's the man that started off the scoring, although there hasn't been a whole lot of it. 3 hits, 3 extra base hits. Homer by Engel, homer by Delmonico, and a double by Liuri in the 6th, and that's been it in the hit department.
To right field on a line, and that is the final out of this doubleheader. The Twins and the White Sox split as the Twins win game number 2.
Well, things were over early in this one as the Twins put 6 on the board in the 2nd inning, and then Dylan G just kept on throwing strikes, kept on getting people out. But the doubleheader is split, and we will see you tomorrow, where we will only be playing a single game.
Look forward to it. 7:10 first pitch. Lucas Giolito's White Sox debut. So for our producer Keon Dolachaki, our director Jim Angio, associate producer Chris Kampka, tech manager Mark Harper, executive producer Jim Corno Jr., Scott, Joe, Jim, Danielle, Dave, Joe, Frank, Mike, and Danny, and our entire crew. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. So long from Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck, Scott, and Bill. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on CSN. Good night.